Hey, everyone. So, man, I was sitting here at the computer just before 8 o'clock, getting everything set up, and I got a notification that Cayman went live. So, you got to pick your battles. You have to pick your battles. There was no winning against Cayman Reynolds in a head-to-head live beekeeping chat. So, I participated in the beekeeping chat over there, and then decided, hey, maybe there's some guys that just want to hang out at 11:30 Eastern time on the East Coast. I don't know who all's up, but I appreciate Stuffy, Charlie Vance, Wildwoods Honeybee Farms for stopping by. And let me, I'm going to go ahead and copy this link in here and drop it over. Hey, James, good to see you. Let's paste that over. And there you go. I'll get that pinned to the top somewhere. Pinned to the message. Pin message. There we go. So now we're open for business. If anybody wants to join the beekeeping chat, more than happy to have you here. Otherwise, this could be an embarrassingly short live stream. But, you know, hey, I enjoyed the Cayman Reynolds going live. He went 3 hours tonight. That it's kind of, hey, Bobby's, good to see you. It was a little bit longer than what Cayman normally goes, right? He doesn't usually go 3 hours. So he usually goes about 2 hours. So we would have been on, an hour ago. But it's all good. I appreciated the content over there, getting to see Ian and Gus and some of those guys that came on, Bearded Bee Works. If you guys haven't subscribed to Charlie Vance, West Virginia Hillbilly Honey, he just put his first video out on Hive Life. So go over there and sub to him and give him some love. And Bobby's Bee, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, please, spread the love, man. Get the beekeeping vibe out there. Well, come on and join, Mike. I don't have an espresso, but I could make you an Apis Biologics. And, I understand it's late, but, there's some West Coasters out there, that maybe can join because what time is it there? Like 8:30 in the evening. So who knows? Maybe Jose might pop in and we can get him to join, or, Brian over at Flower Street Farms, maybe he can come in. or anybody. That's why the link's out there. But yeah, man, today's been a busy day. Been getting some orders on the website for the Saracel cups. Matter of fact, I've sold probably, trying to get the box to see. 6, looks like I've sold about 5 of those today. So that's going pretty good. They're on the website now. So you can check those out. Lee's probably hugging his pillow right now. I saw him over on Cayman's stream. And I did give him his complimentary mead spot. And who do we got here? Man, I thought you were going to bed.
I am going to bed. Actually, I just thought I'd pop in here really quickly to say hi to everybody. But whether I'm going to bed or not, at least I'm going to visit with my wife. I haven't seen her in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you get to see her the rest of your life.
She'll cut off my YouTube privileges here.
Oh, so you must have had the longest ride home out of anybody I know.
Oh, wait for the video. Man, did things go sideways. Yeah.
Well, you flew out of Atlanta, when, yesterday?
I flew out of Atlanta 5:15 last night is when they finally managed to get me onto an airplane.
Well, they had the big FAA shutdown or whatever they did, right? They
had nothing to do with that. So first flight went mechanical, and then after that, it was just a complete gong show with the airline that I was flying with. They have no idea what customer service is, but I ended up.
Well, I mean, if it's a mechanical issue, I don't mind that, right? It's
I get the mechanical issue. Remember, I was in the aviation industry for, I don't know what, 25, 30 years, something like that. So totally get that. No problem whatsoever. But the hotel that the airline put me up in, because the flight went mechanical, I wouldn't stay there.
Right.
I got checked in. I put my my bag on the bed. As of course, it's one of those hotels you're walking in there. It's like, ooh, do I want to stay here?
Right.
I put my bag on the bed, and then I sat down on the bed, and
cockroach.
The roaches came out from underneath the bed and up the wall. And it's like, yeah, I'm not staying here.
Oh my gosh!
It was beyond bad. So I slept the night in the airport, right beside a nice yellow Porsche, but. They keep those things locked, by the way, too. You can't get in and drive around.
You can't get in and drive around. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, other than that, your trip to the States was pretty good, I think.
It was phenomenal. You know what? I was just telling the wife here tonight. Gonna come say hi to everybody that's on YouTube.
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for letting us borrow your husband for a week or so.
Oh, thanks for entertaining him. And thanks for entertaining me with the 2 little clips you sent me. Or James sent me, I guess. That was pretty cool. Good job.
Nice meeting you.
You have to teach him how to do that.
Oh, he's just got to download the app. It's called Revive.
There you go.
But so now, hey, your wife's going to download that on her phone right now. It's free. Probably. And every family photo you ever had in your life is going to have you singing something crazy in the background.
Yeah, who knows, right? No, the whole trip, you know what? An absolute amazing trip. So the trip down, the conference, the sites, everything. I can't say enough. The hospitality of everybody down there. And once again, like I said, the Hive Life show, second to none. But and like I said, meeting yourself and Lee and Charlie and Ricky and everyone like that, actually meeting everybody, face to face. What a trip! If people haven't done it, I highly recommend they come down there and see everybody.
Well, they make a good point. Cayman makes a good point with it. He says, if you come to the show and you're buying supplies at the show, you end up saving more than your ticket and everything was.
Absolutely.
For the conference. Hey, we got our one bald guy quota for the show today. Charlie.
Evening, Charlie.
It's
a good thing I got, well, not quite.
Yeah, I'm hanging on by a slim limb too there. But I think we got Brad addicted because he was on last night on Charlie's stream.
Yeah, I didn't. I was busy trying to run away from the roaches, which is why I didn't get on your stream last night.
Were they little ones or were they big ones?
Oh, you know what? And they even, I didn't realize they can fly.
Oh, that's palmetto bug. You must have the big brown cockroach.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the U.S.
Oh man, we don't have any of that at home. Like I say, that just it threw me sideways in a big. It's like, yeah, there's no way in hell I'm staying here.
Now we're in violation because we passed our one bald guy quota.
But hey, the trip was absolutely phenomenal. So,
well, it's going to be an interesting year, and I think God bless Canada with their exchange rate, because I think I'm going to be buying more stuff out of Canada. So, it's I ordered from, like I told you yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I ordered from Manitoba, Dancing Bee, and it took 4 days to get here.
Yep.
Which is very quick when I order Apis from New Brunswick, and it gets here maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe it don't get here at all,
Yeah.
And I paid for expedited shipping, and I think they just expedite it to customs, and then it just sits there.
Yeah. So, you don't want to get me going on customs either.
Do you have anything you need to claim? Well, we've got honey mead, honey. We got all the stuff that we're importing.
Yeah. Well, the good news is they couldn't give me a hard time about any of the honey I brought back, because the airline lost my bag.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
I did manage to find it. So of course, from Atlanta to Calgary to Edmonton, they had no idea where my bag was, because I think it went out on the plane that I was supposed to be on that went mechanical. Anyways, so lo and behold, I get to Edmonton, and of course, no bags or anything like that. The airline company can't find my baggage ticket. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm walking down to the carousel just as an exercise in futility, right? Just to add that last little insult to injury. And guess whose bag came through the carousel first?
Yours.
It's like, well, how did they manage to pull that one off?
It was purely accidental. It was probably still there from the day before. It just kept going
just
around.
Going round and round. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, I got home, and I got home with my honey. I got home with all my goodies and all of the everything from the show. So that worked out excellent.
Well, Amy's really bragging on your honey. She's like, I tasted James's honey. It's amazing. So I'm like, okay. I went in there and tasted it tonight, and I'm like, it was so thick compared to my honey. It's like, what in the world?
That's that Canadian honey.
What'd you say that percentage was? Moisture percent?
12%.
12% moisture content. That's like, there is no grade above A in the United States for food and drug, but I think that would be like a AAA rating on that.
Yeah. I think my average water content this year, I think, was between right around 15%. So,
well,
yeah, James, I think the lowest I've ever got mine is 14, and that's after pushing it. So that's impressive.
So mine usually runs around 16.5 when I'm straight out of the colony. 16.5.
Got it.
Wow.
So that's pretty
Charlie,
good.
What do you run for moisture there? I mean, you're close to the Chesapeake Bay. You're muted there, buddy.
You're muted, Charlie.
Your mic. Hit the on
We should
button.
have told him.
Yeah, you got to put the on button on. Yeah, it's about 16%. If I can keep it like 16 and a half, it's fine.
That's
all that stuff.
Charlie, you look tired tonight.
I am. I've been working on videos, and this afternoon after we get done, it was cold here. It's 28 degrees right now.
There you go. Welcome
it's-
to some Canada weather.
It's been pretty
Yeah.
cool here today too, and it was supposed to get
My
better.
live chat was quite successful last night. We had about 50 some people, and we had Brad from up here at your way, James.
Right on. Yeah. So I guess Bob, I got the text message here. So Brad and Ian, I guess, are on board to for the three of us to come on and
Okay.
spend some time on your channel there. So we'll just have to get all that arranged.
All right. I've got Ian's phone number. Well, I've got Ian's Facebook, and I've got your phone number, and I don't have anything for Brad. He just shows up. So we'll have to. I'll have to send you a message, I guess, and you have to key those guys in on what's going on. And we're gonna do the hat trick, Canadian hat trick there.
What are you talking about? That hat trick? What's that about?
Dude, don't you watch hockey? You're up north. I'm in
no.
South Carolina. We don't even have hockey down here.
I can't even think what it would be equivalent to. It'd be equivalent to
It's like it's almost like a grand slam, right? So it's like
three
when one guy
goals.
scores 3 goals.
Correct, in a single game.
So we got one game with 3 beatkeepers. Hat trick, right? There you go.
There we go. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to pop in here and say hi and everything like that. Like I said, I'm going to go spend some time with my wife. I haven't seen her for a little bit, so
Oh, by all means,
I will
James,
once
but,
again.
But thanks for all your travels. Those were kind of fun.
Excellent. I had a blast. I really did. And y'all, like I said, thanks to everybody down there in you guys' neck of the woods. It was a blast, and it was great meeting everybody. And I'm sure I'll see lots of everybody in these live chats. So
and the guy at Hive Life that had that easy loader, you missed out. He sold it.
Oh yeah, no, I heard he sold it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
He's just over in Winnipeg, so it's not too hard to get more of them. So
I saw somebody on. You're gonna end up buying an extracting line. I know you haven't crunched the numbers yet, but I saw one. I think it was a Cowan on Facebook Marketplace, and I want to say it was in Canada. That
65,000 they wanted for that one.
Yeah, but they had a used one.
I did see that. I think that was 44.
Yeah. So
yeah, I got that.
Buy it from the. You should have bought it while you're down here from the U.S. website and got the big savings on it.
There you go. Well, I think I have a few friends down there that I could probably still maybe swing that.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Call Mike and say, "Hey, Mike Gordon, give me a deal."
Exactly. Hey, did you check out those pens?
I did. They're like $2 a pin.
Pretty cheap, eh?
Yeah.
Compared to the $10 a pen, I think. Yeah. So, and they work quite well. Ian came and did a review on them over a year ago. So, but as it turns out, I think he on Cayman's channel, I think he said those are the ones that were recommended to him by Bob. I think that's the pen that he uses all the time. So
Yeah.
way better than the $10 Posca pens.
So I'm gonna give them a call this week. And I'm this close to pulling the trigger on buying a pallet of boxes out of Canada. So it's just money, right?
Canada,
it's just
right?
money.
I got to put that in there. For the last 12 days, I've heard everything about made in the USA. USA is right. So now I got to put that poke in there. Made in Canada.
It's it's funny because I go onto the Canadian website, and the Canadian website has the same products for the same price in dollars, but one side is Canadian dollars and the other side is US dollars.
Yep.
So you save money just from the conversion rate on it.
There you go.
And then if I, Mike's pretty good to me, so he gives me a little bit of a discount. So we'll see. What's going on there.
Anyways, guys, once again, thank you very much. I'll catch you in the one of the next chats.
All right,
Okay,
we'll James. Thanks.
Bye for now.
See you.
Bye. So what are you fellas doing?
Getting ready to go to bed for me.
Bed's for
Yeah.
the week.
I was up late last night with that chat.
I took my grandpa nap earlier, and then I got up and I was all set up to go live, and then I got a notification saying Cayman Reynolds is live. I'm like, well, no need for me to pull the trigger because everybody will be over there watching that one. So you got to pick your battles, and that was not one I was going to win. So,
Yeah, Charlie,
Brad
I'm
said
really
that-
sorry I missed your chat last night.
We'll have
was
another
looking
one.
forward
We'll
to
have
seeing
another
it.
one next Friday.
look
I'm
at
gonna
that.
try to.
Yeah, but
It was oh, there's Brad. Yeah.
He said, I just get here and James leaves.
We had a really good chat, and we talked about queen rearing, pretty extensively, and with
Oh, you did?
with Brad and everybody, and I really enjoyed it. And all.
The man,
Wow.
I talked to Mike earlier. I was just like, I'm struggling with finding boxes that are reasonable to buy. Like last year, earlier this year, I bought my boxes for $7 or $18, and then $2 to put them together. So it was like $20 to $22 for the boxes. And this year, everything's $26, $27 right now to buy boxes. So it's a struggle. The struggle is real.
Yeah, and we were talking about that. And with the way the housing market has collapsed and is going to keep collapsing, the lumber prices should go down, but who knows? So, be interesting to see how that works out.
Well, to me, it just doesn't make sense that I was really interested in buying poly hives when I went up to Hive Life, and then it was they were as expensive as wooden boxes. So, I mean, I see for here, if it'll keep them from bearding, I wouldn't mind trying them, but I'm not going to. I know what I got with wood, right? I don't know what I have with the poly. So, for me to spend $1,500 in boxes on poly hives, it would be a gamble. Because I really only, at this point, I only need deep boxes. I don't need the whole setup that locks together and the whole deal, right? I only need deep boxes.
Well, was there any licensed boxes up there at the?
Yeah, Better Be had some, or at least they had a display of them.
Okay. That's the only thing I was filming so much that I didn't really have time to kind of absorb it in and, really look at every table really in detail. And, I compared to last year's Hive Life, there were a little bit more mom and pop, suppliers there.
What are you doing?
And, which I kind of liked a little bit better. And there was a little more variety, I guess you might say, in woodenware of somewhat. So,
What?
Hey,
Brad, what brand were you using of Polybox? Because I know some of them have that little thin lip on them, so the boxes interlock. And I was wondering if there's one out there that is flat like a Langstroth that just sits together.
I've seen those, Bob, and I can't for the life of me think of where they were.
I mean, there was a few different, like Better Be has Lyson, but then they have the Better Be version of the Lyson one that says Better Be on it. And
I've got a 6-frame license nuke, and it's.
And what they have, Paradise. Look at that.
So, who was the Amish couple that had them? I think they had polystyrene, or Fred Dunn interviewed them.
Well,
I can't.
Lee's going to be upset.
I think they had styrofoam hives there. So
from 23,
hello,
30.
Kaylee. Who's Kaylee?
That's Lee's niece, the honey straw girl.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay,
And
I've
Lee's
seen
not
the
on.
picture of that shows before. So
Lee's not on the stream, and his niece jumps
that's
in.
wonderful.
Do you need me to give you his phone number? Because everybody else calls me for Lee's phone number. Oh, you're muted. Your speaker's
You can't talk?
Your mic's muted. No, you're not going to talk.
She just doesn't want to talk. Okay, I got it. Yeah, my granddaughter's like that. So.
But are you going to be a beekeeper? Think so? All right.
Good. Okay, wonderful.
That's
a good thing. I'm gonna buzz back real quick. Well, we're all on here and check out to see what the heck those people were, and they were Amish, if I remember right. They had the polyhives on Fred's.
Was that Beeline?
Oh, I don't remember, Bob.
There was a lot of Amish people walking around the show. It seemed like to me.
This was a couple that were actually selling the materials.
Oh, okay.
I'll have it in a second here. Kind of go from there, but
we're trying to peer pressure Lee into making honey straws, and he still hasn't made the machine.
Oh, okay. So somebody was talking about actually buying one of those things. Do you remember who that was?
Oh, we were talking about it the other day, but they were $1,600 at the show.
I remember that part.
And it's like a centrifuge. You put the straws on, and it spins around, and the honey fills into them. But
yeah.
Okay, Paradise Poly 6-frame boxes for newts.
Be Smart, Horizontal Apame, Pierce Beekeeping Stream Team, Ivory Bee, Guardian Bee, Best for Bees.
What are you looking at? The layout there?
I'm looking at Fred Dunn's interview with all the different vendors. I'm trying to find the people that were making those.
And somebody had a deep box that was made out of straight plastic.
I mean, that was a lure or something. I think that's what they call it.
Was that a Nell? A Nell's Colony?
A Nell. Yeah, there you go.
But they had another brand that was there that was just straight. It's almost like that poly cutting board material. It was just thick plastic.
Yeah, actually, who was it that had those? Well, my friend Troy had them, and they were basically plastic panels.
But these didn't interlock. This was just one box that was just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these were panels, the ones that Troy has, and I think the reason he got it was just because he could, just so I'd try them out. He must not have been too crazy about them. He says, "Do you want them?" So,
and the other thing that we talked about was the bottom entrances. I didn't know if any of our viewers did bottom entrances, and I was wondering if they were in the South, if it helped any with hive beetles, like a bottom entrance on the bottom board, if that helped at all to keep the hive beetles out. Oh, there went Kylie. But
I don't know, the ones those anneals, they had plastic bottom boards. I do know that. I've got them in my video that I'm going to put up sometime.
Okay, where is that?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to building my own boxes. I'm really not. It's just the time, right? The time that's involved in doing it. That's the big headache. For me anyway.
When you say you got those mite checkers and stuff on your store, what do you got to go? Bewares?
Yeah, bewares.co.
Okay.
And hey, Mr. Make It Worse Makes It Better. I like that name. Long title, but it's a good name. But what, Mike?
I'm having a dickens of a time finding. I'll find it though. Sorry, guys, that's what I'm doing.
Hey, Bobby.
Charlie, do foragers carry the mite back to the hive, or how do they get in?
Yeah, the mites will be on a flower or something like that, and they will hop a ride. And like if they're let's say the hive's about ready to crash, they'll jump on a forager, or if the bees are leaving, and they'll fly to wherever the next hive is. That's how you get infected. They actually had some experiments here in Maryland at the Maryland Bee Lab, and they actually painted what was it? I think they put numbers on them, and they had hives within let's say a 3 or 4 mile radius of this one hive that they wanted to check that. And sure enough, those bees were half a mile to a mile to these other surrounding hives because they, checked them for that experiment and everything. So yeah, they do travel.
I just told your Uncle Lee that you were on my live stream.
Okay, and I just found that.
Huh?
You
I
gotta
just
set your
found
mic-
that group, Marilyn Miller of Superior Bee, and those look like they're all 100% polystyrene, including the bottom boards, if I'm looking at it right. I'm
Superior
going to
Bee.
put the link up to the video in case anybody else wants to look there. Or you can just look up the
What, Miller Bee Supply? They're in North Carolina, I think it is, or South Carolina.
No, they're Superior Beehive Kits is what you're talking about.
Superior Bee. I don't know. That's just the name of their company, and it, like I said, it looks like they are. I'm guessing they're actually Mennonite.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Tell
they
you
got
what,
everything right there.
For a group of people that don't believe in using technology, man, they didn't mind using that credit card machine.
Hey, Bo,
So, hey,
you can hear me?
yes, ma'am, I can hear you now.
All right. It was my earbuds.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Let's see.
okay.
Sounds like the cat's doing a
there
lot
you
of
go.
talking.
See, now
That's
this
the one right there. Yeah.
this is the issue I have. Look at
Okay.
the price on those. $50.26 to $84.58.
Oh, is that what those are?
$50 for
Yeah.
a styrofoam cooler.
And I think those are actually polystyrofoam, like Nerf balls. I don't know that for certain. But can you stack those up? It looks like you can.
There's Brad.
Sorry. I don't think I'd want to spend $50 for them.
Well, I mean, that's like buying 2 wooden boxes.
Well, okay, so they're insulated though, so you got to make that comparison going on. So, how much is an Apame Super?
Oh, I don't know. With Apame is high too. I mean, Apame is good if you got 2 or 3 colonies, I think. But when
Yeah.
you're doing things like bread and if you're trying to scale to 100 hives, you're not going to buy 50 Apame colonies. At least I'm not going to buy 50 Apame colonies.
Yeah,
No
thank
way,
you,
man.
Jeffy.
Them Apames out here, they're like $300.
Let's see, 10 frame. With plastic frames or without plastic frames? Let's do without. $52. What if I don't want any frames? Let's just do no frames. I've got frames. With plastic frames, $84. Yeah. I mean, how are people supposed to expand when you're spending $50 a box or $30 a box, and then you got to put $30 worth of frames in it. Then you got $60 a box. I mean, honey will be $20 a pound, like it is in Canada.
Yeah, like it is in Canada.
Brett, how you doing?
No, I had a few of those, and I paid about $30 a piece for them, and I didn't buy very many. I think I bought 4 just so I could try out a couple doubles.
Well,
And
my thing
yeah,
is
they performed just fine.
in the summer.
I
when it
didn't
gets
like them
hot-
management wise because they didn't fit in with my woodenware. That's all.
Yeah, and that's kind of
Okay.
where I'm at. I've got all wooden stuff, so it's like that's the only reason. I mean, I guess if I started phasing it in, it would be something, to do over time. But it just seems a little bit expensive for styrofoam, in my opinion.
Well, it's all made from hydrocarbons, right? Hydrocarbons are through the roof.
So it's yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do this year. I might just have to hold fast on expansion. Just
Bob,
know,
I'm
if
doing
I
something new
remember-
right now. Can you hear me okay? Is my mic
Yeah.
okay on this thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
sounded really
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Brad.
good.
I just wanted
You're
to
good.
check. I'm doing something different, so
So
I think it was 2 years ago. Rodney was he was just driving down the road. Anytime he saw somebody throwing out furniture, he's taking those things and breaking them apart and making nukes out of them and whatnot. Somebody's throwing out a desk or table. So,
well, it's going to be something really to keep an eye on. Like I said, I can get the boxes from Canada cheaper, but then I got to put them, they got to be palletized. I got to buy a pallet to really get the price break. So that's 100 boxes, which is really more than I need right now. So
you want deeps or mediums, Bob?
deep boxes.
okay.
I know somebody's got a bunch of mediums she'd like to unload. Poly mediums.
What brand,
Donnie
Brad?
just said that the license 10
You know
frame
what? I
is
have no
$40.
idea. They don't have any markings on them. I don't know
Yeah.
who made them.
Now, Bob,
They don't look anything like a Paradise.
you got Brad here. Do you need to get his contact information? For
Yeah,
talking.
I'll give. Well, Brad looks like he's relaxing pretty well right there right now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I had to go in the other room. My wife's watching TV.
I got you. The James has my contact information, my phone number, and that way we can coordinate when you and Ian and James will be on.
I think my email address is on my channel if you look on there.
Okay, I'll look it up then. And so yeah, that's the big thing right now for me is Ricky Rourke is looking to, he's building me some boxes, and we're gonna see, he's kind of wanting to test them out because of the joint design that we talked about before, and so we're gonna see this year. But I'd buy 50 boxes from them if they're decent priced, and and work it out. But what he's trying to do is, and this was actually before we saw the Pura thing where they were trying to limit the end grain exposure. Well, we're actually doing almost like a tongue and groove where it just locks into place. It slides in, so you just glue it, slide it, so there's no end grain exposed at all. And then yep. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And then something similar to this, but where the pry points are on the box, having like a piece of, not stainless, but a piece of aluminum or something around there to keep you from chipping your box as you're prying on it. So we'll see. It's design thing right now, but we'll.
The one thing I would really encourage anybody that's thinking about building their boxes, be sure to dado the ends so you can divide them in half or divide them into 3 for queen rearing. It's just running through a table saw, and then you've got your box always ready if you should ever want to use it for something else. It's just ridiculously simple not to do it. So had to throw that in there.
To make the 3-frame nuke on it, the Queen Castle or whatever.
Or just a 2, divide it down 2. So you've got, 4 or 5 frames that you can put in there. So,
Brad, have you ever?
I wouldn't disagree with that advice.
Have you ever tried a bottom entrance on any of your colonies? Or you're on pallets, so you probably wouldn't think about it anyway.
Have any of you guys ever seen a hive with when he told me about this earlier, I was like, what? Because I'd never seen one.
I've seen them in Europe on a few videos where they're doing the bottom entrance. But I don't know. They probably don't have hive beetle issues, or maybe they do have hive beetle issues. I don't know.
This is where
What do
they're
you
coming
mean bottom
up to the
entrance?
bottom.
So, typically, let me get the bottom board here. See if I can.
Texas are a good woodworker here. Definitely do it while the box is apart. It only takes a minute. Absolutely.
And typically,
okay, come on.
What we see is a setup like this, right, where the bees land and fly in this way. So I've seen where the bottom board is like this, but they have it slotted in the bottom here, so the bees are actually flying in and out from underneath, and not too dissimilar to how it would be if they were in a eave of a house, right? They're just flying in and out from the bottom. And
Yeah.
my thought was that could be a good hive beetle reduction if the entrance is on the bottom and the beetle can't round that corner to go up in the colony. It could really stop it. So I might make me a bottom board to see just how it'll do with them with the bees going in and out from the bottom.
What's that, Mr. Ed Danner? He had that other style of entrance where the bees actually have to go, they're like going in, but they have to kind of go up underneath and to get up inside the hive. Not sure what that's all about.
Yeah. Man, actually, I don't remember that.
Yeah, he had a video about that. I looked at that.
He had that slant on the bottom of his bee vac. So when he sucked the bees in, they would have to walk up at an angle to get in.
Okay. Hey, Kaylee,
Mhm.
can you see okay?
Yeah.
Oh, she just ran off. My oldest granddaughter's name is Kayla, and we just had her favorite cat here. She just went sailing through the living room.
Let's see if Lee responded, because this is the first time Kylie's been on one of our streams, and Kylie's actually Lee's niece, and Lee's not here.
I was
To
with
be
him
honest.
today.
Huh?
I was with him today. I was his cameraman.
You were his cameraman when he got those other hives?
Yeah, he had to
There
check
you
on
go.
because the bee man, he passed away, so we had to go get his. We had to go check on the hive.
There you go,
Well,
Kaylee.
So did you take the film where the bee stung him in the cheek
Yeah.
or between the eye?
Yep.
Did you really?
Mhm.
Yeah, he got it right. He said it's right between the cheek and his nose.
Well, you guys did a whole little ceremony there, right? For the beekeeper that passed away.
Yeah.
So that's the video that's coming out. I guess there's a,
Oh,
you guys would know better than I would, but I guess there's a tradition that when a beekeeper passes away that you go out and I think they do it in England, right?
Yeah, you got to tell them if the owner's gone.
You got to tell them that the owner's gone. So they had a little service thing on video, and then they
I think that's sort of
remove the colony.
like Lithuanian or not Lithuanian. It's over there where they have those the beehives, not licensed, but whatever they're called, the ones that are
Slovenia.
Slovenia, where they open the back door up and all that kind of stuff. And there was somebody had a video about where they hollowed out the trees, and they did like they made the trees look like people when the bees would come out of their noses or their mouth, is where their
my
exits
goodness.
were.
Cool.
It was interesting. Quite
Yeah,
interesting.
sure sounds like it.
Well, I gotta get off here, guys.
Yeah, I'm
And,
going to take off in a minute here too. But
Yeah.
Charlie, you get some good sleep here. By the way, when you were dancing at the Hive Live,
Yeah,
I like your boots.
that's good.
I noticed
say?
those.
What did you say? Something, Brad?
Yeah, I got something to tell you. I put a comment on your last live chat. So look in the comments. There's a link to something I thought you'd get a kick out of.
Okay.
Check
Let me ask you this, Bob. Is in my, where you go click on the bell, where they have notifications,
Right.
Well, I got a notification on the video I put up about the honey show, and it says recommended. Now, is that YouTube stating that? It says recommended, and then it says, the honey clip that I had, about the honey show.
I don't know.
I
I haven't excelled to that level yet. I don't think I've had any of my videos recommended for anybody.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, the ones at the end are when it fills up the whole screen. Those are YouTube inserts. And I don't know.
Yeah,
what
but this one
regulates
here was it's like on the when you go over there and you click on the bell, and it'll have like the people that you're subscribed to, and like Brad there will have one about his table saw video or something, and the different other ones that I have. But then here's my video on my channel, and it says recommended. I guess it's recommended by YouTube.
Yeah, I think
Recommending your own video.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what it is.
I've
Yeah.
had that happen.
That's
Have you?
it there. So
Okay.
Because YouTube has a thing.
All right,
where-
I'll look in the chat on the
where-
live thing,
where
Brad.
you watch, they recommend videos to you.
Right on.
What-
okay.
Okay. All right, I got to go.
All right,
Well,
Charlie.
take care,
have a good-
Charlie. Have a good
We'll
night's
catch
sleep.
y'all later. Yeah.
Take care.
See ya.
So I'm going to answer this question.
Please.
Yes, the peppermint did work to deter hive beetles. It's not going to eliminate them. It's not going to kill them. It does deter them. So you definitely need something else to keep them down. The problem more than anything with the peppermints is if you've got several colonies, it's just A, the vast number of peppermints you have to have. B, remembering to bring the damn peppermints to the bee yard. 3, or C rather, not is all of the wrappers from the peppermints that litter up your yard and jacket. So that's the big.
And D, it's a long walk to the bee yard, so I might eat all the peppermints before I get there.
Brad, thank you for saying that.
Go out there with your bell on.
I pulled all the candy canes off my Christmas tree here, so I'm right there with you, brother.
But I did incorporate peppermint into my peppermint patty mixture, a little bit of peppermint oil, and that seems to help keep them out.
Well-
And then it's just having a multifaceted attack against them, right, to try to deter them and
Yeah.
reduce
And
effect. on
did
the
you
colony.
have, Bob, did you have best luck putting a one on each corner?
I did. I mean, I had.
That's what I did, and it didn't work at all.
Well,
Okay.
I had good luck with it, so I didn't.
But I mean, my yard's very infested.
Well, okay, so it might be just a holding point, right, Spanky?
Now, I will also say that I put down the gardening cloth before the season, right? And I
Okay.
put diatomaceous earth underneath the landing board, so if any larvae came off the landing board, that they would immediately fall into wood chips and diatomaceous earth. And then if they did make it through that, they would have to burrow through gardening cloth to get into the soil. So it was a I'm doing everything I can to keep them down. At least break the cycle,
Y'all should try. Y'all should try and make lavender honey.
Lavender honey?
Oh, I do make lavender honey.
Yeah, I've had that. It's pretty good.
I don't eat mince every time I come home from Sonic Drive.
Yeah.
I love that one. Oh, that's good. Say, Spanky, do you use screen bottom boards?
No, all I've got solid.
Okay, I'm looking for any kind of feedback as far as how that would help with hive beetles. Now, I don't have hive beetles at all here, but we're starting to build screen bottom boards. And
Well, I like what Galloway was saying about how you could set up a hive bottom to double as a double screen board if you build it. Right.
oh, yeah, for dual use. Actually, you can do that, but then you have to have a secondary screen in. So,
But is it
Yeah.
worth it to have multiple use equipment?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's
So
the
if you
question
took
you got to
two-
ask yourself.
Yeah, so if you took two of our bottom boards and stacked them on top of one another, then they would be a double screen.
Well, what he's doing is putting screen on the top of the hole and screen on the bottom of the hole, so it's got screen on both sides. So
That's what he's looking at. Okay, so the only problem with that is you'd have to put it in, recess it, so when you shove your hive tool in there, it wouldn't come off. Okay, well, no, thanks. That's something to think about. That's the other thing we're trying to figure out, what kind of landing to put on the front of them. And I kind of like the extended landings because they'll even have bees bearding underneath there, and they're a little protected from weather. Gives them a little bit more room and gives us something to do when they're
do you get bearding bad up there?
Not like you.
You saw mine. Mine.
Oh
mine
yeah,
are
no,
just
no, I definitely get some
chilling out
breeding
on the
going on.
front,
Yeah,
which is
and
why
there's
I was looking at the poly. Because from what I understand, poly they don't do that.
boy,
I want
that's a
them
good
inside the hive working, right? Not hanging out, chilling all over the box and underneath. So,
right, but then during the dearth, they're going to do it anyways. There's one other thing I noticed for the extended entrances coming out, and I run into a couple hives that were starting to swarm, is that the bees will come out and just hang in groups underneath there, and I just go and scoop them out, and dump them in another hive or whatever. You don't know if you got the queen or not, but it was just something else that we just happened to run into 3 times. So,
well, I guess you could dump them in a nuke box and then let them sit in there for a few days and see, lock them in
just to
and
see what happens.
See if there's a queen in there, right?
Oh no, I think Brad fell asleep. Brad?
No, I'm trying to find the comments on the chat so I can watch both. I'm not only seeing one here on my tablet.
Well, there should be a button up at the top if you're on the tablet that says comments or chat or something like that on the top.
Yeah, so a little teeny drop down arrow that goes on there. But so, Kaylee, I got to ask you a question. Lady, what's your favorite thing about helping your uncle with the bees?
Getting honey, free honey.
Free honey.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like working with the bees at all inside the box?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you? Okay.
Too much. Today was my first time going with him, and today I was kind of his helper, and I was using the GoPro.
So
okay.
You were his camera girl.
Yep.
That's a wonderful thing.
That's how it starts, and then you're like, "Hey, that's pretty cool." And then next thing he's like, "Here, hold this for me," and then you'll be right in there working the bees with him.
Yeah.
Well, you'll probably work them more often than he does.
Because I live 2 hours away, so I want to make sure.
Oh man.
So it's if I could catch him if he's doing a honey pickup trip while I'm down here.
Well, at least you get to hang out with him and enjoy the time with him. That's a good thing.
I'd like, but I had school.
You had to go to school.
Did he get you a bee suit?
Not yet.
Well, that'll happen.
I might ask if he could get one for my birthday.
Watch now. You guys say that, and he'll get 500 subs and give it away, and Kylie will win it, and you'll say it's rigged. It's rigged. That was planned. He just wanted to get her free. But Brad, what do you got going on down there? I mean, as far as bees, they're just what's going on with them right now?
I'm sorry. Going on with what?
With Brad's bees.
Oh, you talking to me? Sorry. Nothing. They're just hanging out in the shop. Your mic dropped out when you said my name.
Oh.
Yeah, they're just hanging out in the bee shed there, doing not much.
So you've got about what, 3 more months before you got to worry about them? 2.5 months.
If it's warm, they could come out in 2 months. Middle of March, usually middle to late March.
So, Brad, something I've been meaning to ask anybody that goes inside, the shed. Do you ever just for giggles sweep up your bee drop on the floor and do a mite count?
Oh yeah, I've heard you ask that before. I think I never have.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could say what to expect from that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think come to think of it, Fred Dunn did that with dead bees gathered just out at the entrance in the winter. He actually did that, and then he did a wash on them, and some of the bees came alive because they were just and went to the windows.
Oh dear.
Yeah, forgot about that.
If I'm ambitious, I'll gather some up for you and check them out.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, by all means.
So I don't go in there much, to be honest. I don't go in there much at all. There's not much to see, and as long as the place stays a decent temperature, I try to stay out because
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind, right? I don't worry and
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
fuss if I'm
Yeah,
not in there.
absolutely. I think that we're supposed to have like 3 days in the upper 30s here, which is completely unheard of for us this time of year. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to all the entrances and just anything that was right dead on I clean the entrances off, but anything that comes out and just drops there, yeah, I'm definitely going to take those and put them in a jar just for giggles,
Oh yeah.
try and give it a run. But,
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know. I have wondered, if you pick up dead bees like a dead out or something, like what would there be any mites on there?
No, we did that with all the dead outs that we had this last spring, and when we did that, oh yeah, those things were loaded with mites.
Is that
we
right?
had one yard though that we know we had a bad batch of apivar in, and it just got in there too late. It was one of Troy's out yards.
Okay.
And
well, that's
but now
interesting.
now I've just gotten to the point where anytime there's a dead out, we just scoop them up, and just because we can.
Well,
Just your regular alcohol wash, nothing different.
Yeah, just do the a little bit of Dawn soap in a jug, but you want to do that 2 or 3 days ahead of time, and then when you go to shake it, it doesn't foam up quite as much. But the release is pretty good.
Oh, I see.
And, and then if I remember right, what the heck did? Oh, I know I think I'm remembering what he did. I think Fred put him in a glass pie dish, and then just swirled them around in there. And then poured all that liquid. It pulled the bees out and poured the remaining liquid through a white coffee filter in a colander, so it'll just easy to see.
Okay.
But he was messing around with it, and then he's pulling the microscopes out and everything else. And
that sounds like a lot of work to me.
He did that packages.
No, thank you. I think he wanted to get it out so he could examine the mites to see how the bee weavers were chewing on the mites differently. So that's just completely too much work. But no, Spanky, thank you very much, because when we did it, we just used the regular shake jar and just counted out the bottom, so it was just interesting.
Well, talking about weather, it was 70 degrees the other day when I was out there going through my colonies, right? And right now it's 34 and it says feels like 30. So again, just like last year, right? This time of year, we had 75 snowing, 75 snowing, and that's how our weather was flip-flopping. And now we're in the 30s again after 70s. So,
yeah.
So we're gonna give it.
That's hard on the bees.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and
that's harder on the bees than 30.
That's what we're fighting here. And I think even where Bob Binney is, he's about 3.5 hours from me, but he's a little bit north and west from me. So, and he's in a mountainous or hilly area. So he has even more consistent temperature than we have probably.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's got more consistent temperature than we have down here. If you go further south, it's just consistently warm, right? So
yeah. I've got stuff landing on the skylights here, and I was just bringing up the radar to see, because I think at 1 o'clock this morning we're actually going to get rain here, and in January that'd be like Brad getting some rain there this time of year. It just doesn't happen.
Hey, that's a good point that Bobby puts up.
Remember exactly where you are, Mike? Minnesota, it says.
Yeah, pretty much east central Minnesota. I mean, center, north, and south, but on the eastern border towards Wisconsin, north of the Twin Cities by about an hour.
Okay. North Minneapolis. Okay. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah. So it's.
So Bobby says a bearding colony is a healthy colony.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
That colony that was bearding real strongly in last year is like my strongest colony right now. So
was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So last year, just for giggles, I actually started doing mite wash on the bearding. And
on the bearding? Let's just kill some bees. Shake them up.
It was just really pretty straightforward, and I was surprised. There are mites on bearding bees. So
you found some. I've done that, and I didn't find a lot of mites, so I wasn't sure if the test was very good. But if you found mites, then makes you wonder how many are inside though.
Exactly, Brad. Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. I was going to throw that wild card in there. I think that hive was.
Those are the. You'd think the bearding bees are likely the foragers.
Yeah, but you are going to have I suppose, under extreme warmth, you're going to have nurse bees going out too, just try and keep the brood cool. But yeah. So I didn't go into that hive, Brad. Once I found out that I found 2 mites in a scoop, and I should have opened it up, and I didn't. Instead, what I did was I hit it with a couple rounds of oxalic and walked away because that hive needed to be requeened anyways. Come to think of it, that was the one that was the one that was swarmed and being robbed at the same time.
Wow.
That was a real, like, what the hell's going on here? Never quite had that before, but yeah, it's in fact, I think I posted the video, like, what is this? Just never seen that before, and I'm sure it happens all the time, but just kind of one of those things. So anyways, if you have bedtime for me too there, and Brad, I suspect you're not too far behind. Guys, y'all take care.
North of you.
So, all right, Mike, thanks for stopping in.
Hey, God bless.
This video was just kind of planned to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time today, and then came and went live right as I was getting ready to go live, and I'm like, yep, I'm not going to win that live.
I said okay.
No. So
I don't know. It's a nice intimate group here, you know. It's a different format. Format, so it's nice to actually talk to people instead of
it is.
You know,
absolutely.
Listening
to
one
one
or two
other thing,
people.
Brad, we were digging out some stacks of lumber, some white oak that had put out for a customer, and bringing about a 3 foot of snow, and I turn around and here's Vince and the bobcat. He had the forks down in the snow, prying out to get the bobcat unstuck. So I thought of you right away. It's kind of hard to explain to people that have never seen that before. So anyways, God bless you all. Keep warm. Have a good night's sleep. And Bob, thanks for throwing up. And Spanky and Kaylee and Tex and Bobby and all everybody else I missed. Have a grand night.
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
Yeah, we're just just hanging out. The No Life Beekeeper chat. Nothing better to do.
No Life Beekeeper. My wife is looking at me sideways every time I say, I want to go talk to the beekeeper people.
Oh, yeah. My wife does it too. She just gave up. She's like, you're live every night. Well, not on my channel every night. I mean, every night there's a live chat just about. So,
yeah, it doesn't count if it's not your channel, right?
Right. We're not getting any views. So, that's the thing. And, Charlie started. So that's good that his channel starting to do some things. And
I happened to click on notifications. I saw it there, and then I saw James in, and I hadn't talked to him since before he got on his plane. So, yeah. But as soon as I turned the video on, James just said, "Okay, good night, everybody."
Yeah, he just got home this evening, so he said he had a mechanical issue with the plane, so they had to put him in a hotel. Then he got to the hotel and it was roach infested. So he left at the airport. And then they lost his luggage. So when he finally
lots of benefits to a road trip instead of a flight.
Oh yeah. Well, I could only imagine how long it would have taken him to drive.
From my place, it's a 24-hour drive. And from my place to his place is about a 15-hour drive.
So you'd have
and I'm almost directly on his way. He's only come probably 2 hours out of his way to come to my place on the way.
So yeah, he would have been. Other than that, he said it was a great trip. The last part going home was the worst part with the luggage and all that. So other than that,
we might do that next year. We might
just drive on down
next year.
Carpool it on down. That wouldn't be bad. You could see a lot of stuff on the way, maybe.
Find somebody with an 18-wheeler.
Yeah. The 18-wheeler for the gear they're going to take home.
Well, I mean, they're going
Exactly.
to be paying more for it, but
What James did is smart. He came down, he made his purchases, but because he's in Canada, they have to ship it all, right? So
Yeah.
he took advantage of the exchange rate by coming down and buying things. Well, I don't know. He bought them at a discount, so I can't really say the exchange rate benefited him. But when you can buy a pallet of Pro Nukes for $9 a piece, I mean, it's still a pallet. You're still spending $5,000, but if you would have bought the same things at retail, you'd have spent, $10 extra a box at least.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what the shipping would cost them though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know I had my extractor sent down from New York, and it cost me about $350 shipping from New York here on a tractor trailer.
Shipping LTL across the border too. It's not cheap. Plus they charge him duty and tax at the border. I don't know what the duty is on a product like that. Exchange rate's about 30% right now, so a $9 unit is going to run him $12.50 Canadian.
Right. Well,
I'm buying those for Mike for $19.50 or something for in 10 lots, and I bought a whole skid. It'd be less than that.
Right. The stuff I ordered from Mike, he sent it out this week, and it got here in 4 days, and it came UPS.
Yeah.
So I was surprised. I was expecting to get it next week, and it came this week. So, I'm gonna start ordering more.
I can't compare what I'm doing with James because I have Mike within an hour drive of me, and James doesn't have anything like that. So,
James needs to be that guy.
James needs to be that guy, and I think James understands that James needs to be that guy, and that's all I'll say. That's all I will say.
Then all the other beekeepers around him would have to come to him to buy their stuff.
Yeah.
And then he could benefit on the discount for his own equipment and make some money on the equipment he's selling.
Yep. Well, that's the idea. I don't know if he'll do that or not, but maybe.
What'd you say, Spanky?
oh, you're reading the chat.
Oh, okay. Good night, Kylie. Yeah, Tuesday night will be earlier for sure. Let me see. So if it could go wrong, it did. Yeah, on the way home, Tex, it did for sure. I keep calling him Tex because of his son, but it's Blaine. But yeah, so I mean, it seems like in my mind, my biggest hurdle right now is just equipment. Just because my first season, I thought I had enough, and I ran out in the middle of the year. So I was out buying boxes and stuff, assembling them, painting them, trying to get them, right on.
What do you need? How much do you think you need for next year?
Well, right now I've got 20 plus colonies, and I've got about 20 deep boxes right now that may be serviceable. But some of them, the boxes I bought this year, at the top, they bowed out. So frames are either balancing on the end of the frame or won't fit at all. They'll just drop. So they were just crap boxes that I bought. And, so I'm looking, I have to replace some of those plus, have enough for splits and growing my colony. So that's kind of thing. I've got plenty of nukes. I've got 35 or 40 supers that are out there that don't have any bees in them, right? So I could do medium, like double mediums for a brood box, but I don't know.
Well, when I started, I was only a couple of years in, and I was talking to Ian one night and telling him about, I kind of probably sounded a lot like you sound right now, and wanting to grow my apiary and everything. And I remembered vividly what he was saying to me. He says, you grow your apiary to fit your equipment. He says, so that's your number one thing is equipment. If you don't have equipment, you can't do anything else.
Right.
So concentrate on equipment because you can make bees. You can, propagate your colonies and all that sort of thing, but equipment is what you need. And I try to, even hobbyists, I try to instill that on them. You know, they want to get 1 or 2 beehives, and I try and tell them, you know, you need a few extra boxes, you need a few extra. Well, I only want 2 beehives. Well, it doesn't matter. You need, you know, and they don't get it until the first year or two when they get into a swarm season. It's, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, you need those boxes I told you to get, but you didn't because you didn't need them.
So yeah, that's I mean, that's it. You always got to have more than what you're actually using.
That's right.
Because you never know. I mean, when it comes down to either the hive swarming or tossing another deep super on them, you know, just drop the deep on them and let them go. Checkerboard.
Yeah, and I'm blessed that way. I was able to buy boxes and build pallets and lids and everything, and so at this point I have enough, and I have plenty sometimes. 2021, my queen rearing went so well in 2021. I started running out of equipment. I ran out of hive covers first, which is probably the easiest problem to solve, but it was a problem no less. And then I was running out of nuke boxes, and I was running out of pallets, and so that was my only challenge. And so that kind of gave me a bit of a reality check, because I hadn't come up to that scenario for quite a few years. I'd had lots of equipment, but you know, I had 170 colonies or something at that time. I'd never had that many. So it started to push into the end of my equipment supply.
Right. Let me see. He's
so we'll build more equipment the next year.
Said I've been making my own. The hardest part is the frames. It's easy to make a box, but man, the frames are time consuming.
Yes, they are.
Do you make your own frames as well, or you decided to buy those because it's so time consuming?
I assemble them. I buy them and assemble them. I don't build boxes either. That's a waste of time. I mean, for me, everybody's circumstance is different. I won't tell anybody that it's a waste of time for them to build boxes, but for me it is, because first of all, I could be doing so many other things than building boxes. And I can't buy the lumber for a box for the money I can buy a box for.
If you had to cut and assemble and paint as compared to just assemble and painting, I mean, the time difference is pretty substantial, right?
Yeah, even assembling. I can buy them unassembled and assemble them. It's a job I absolutely hate too. So there's that.
Right.
Plus the fact that I like to have my boxes wax dipped, and so then I'm driving them. 100 miles back to the place I bought the parts from to have them dip them. So I just drive there and buy the boxes all done, assembled and dipped. Get it over with, and then I can spend my time building lids and pallets and frames.
Right. Well, a lot of people say you buy your equipment and build your bees, right? That's what Ian's saying is.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
That way what you would be spending on nukes at $200 plus a piece, or $200, that you just put that in the equipment and make the nuke yourself, and it's still net
I think part of that wisdom is the fact that the bees will die, and the box won't die. Except in your case, your boxes are dying, but generally boxes don't die, and you know, bottom boards and covers and stuff don't die, but bees do die. So don't pay money for the things that die. Pay money for the things that don't die.
Right. Well, Man Lake, I mean, don't get me started on Man Lake, but Man Lake had a 5-pack of boxes was $136. And, you know, if you buy them individual 5 boxes, I think you save 15 cents a box, you know, by buying the bigger.
I'm going to give you a reference, but there might be a problem. I deal with a really beautiful family operation that builds woodenware here in Manitoba. They're called Lewis and Sons.
Yeah,
and
James gave me those guys.
Yeah, and they would ship to you. However, there's a problem because for some reason, I don't understand why, but for some reason, Canadian box equipment is made with 7/8 thick lumber,
Hmm.
and yours isn't.
Yeah.
And so you might have a, I don't know if it caused an issue for you or not, but it might.
Well, it can't
You use
cause
a
any
telescope
more of an
recorder?
issue than the ones that I've got now that are bowing out. You know that the
Yeah,
frames.
that's what I'm saying. It's good equipment, and they'd sell you box pieces so you can put them together.
I mean, it's almost where I've contemplated going out there with the hammer and just buying a few boxes, and you know, even if they're the higher price ones, and then trying to piece those parts together on you know, replace the ends or something like
Oh,
that.
I've done that before.
And
Phone them up and talk to them and see, get a quote. You never know.
and see if I can get a good deal on some boxes. I know I can get. I mean, from Mike up there, he'll give me a good price on them, but it's just a matter of what's it going to cost to get them shipped to me. You know.
What's a good price?
Well, he hasn't given me the wholesale price. Just looking at the Canadian dollar price on their Canadian website for a commercial box, it's $20.95 Canadian for a commercial box. So just doing that math without getting a wholesale price, because I have the website and all that. I mean, that's still cheaper than it is here. So even if it's $3 a box difference, it's still $5 cheaper than buying them here in the States. You know, if you're buying
You can see the price. You can see the price I pay at Lewis and Sons website.
Well, I went.
And there is another site that's Lewis and Sons, but so you'll have to make sure you see the right one.
Lewis and Sons Beekeeping or Lewis and Sons. Oh, .ca. That's probably the one. Quality Beekeeping.
.ca.
.ca.
Yeah,
Lewis
and
and Sons.
see a link to components. It's a pretty basic website. You can find what you need pretty easily.
Well, components. There you go. Product components. Wow, super.
And I don't know. You say you want commercial box. Like, why do you like? What does that term mean to you? Why are you asking for a commercial box?
Well, those are other than the budget. Those are typically the least expensive ones here. But the
okay, that's not the same terminology. Lewis and Sons has a budget, and then they have a commercial, which is more expensive, and it has just fewer knots. That's all, really.
Now, have you found an issue? Which ones do you typically get?
I get the budgets.
Yeah, that's a great price. And I take that's in Canadian dollars, not US dollars.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's an awesome price.
What are they charging for a deep budget not assembled, like just parts?
$16.05 Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's probably about $12 or $13.
Okay.
To you.
Well, let's figure it out. I got the Googler right here.
When I started beekeeping, I could buy that box for $10.50.
And do you know what type of wood it's made from? It probably says. That's $11.88 US. So if I bought 100 of them, that's roughly $1,200. If it, let's say it cost $350 to ship, that's still less than $15 a box, or right at $15 a box.
That's still pretty good.
That's cheaper than a 1x12 at Lowe's. I've checked. So
let me tell you this. You get your pencil, write this down. I'll tell you this. That box, of course, the inner dimensions of that box should be the same as your box, but the outer dimensions of that box are 16 5/8 inches by 20 1/8 inch.
Okay. So I'll go measure.
And one nice thing about the 7/8 material is you get that extra 1/8 of an inch on the end where the frame rest is, because that little piece gets pretty thin there, right?
Right.
because you've got the dado for the rabbit for the frame rest. So
Right.
that's a little bit thicker, and I can really tell it's a lot more substantial than a 3/4 box.
And you haven't had any problem with the knots or anything?
No, they never give you loose knots. First of all,
Unassembled, assembled, and dipped. Wow, that's
what.
Now are they dipped?
The only thing assembled and dipped is going to cost you more to ship because it's a bigger volume.
Oh yeah. So pallets are probably like 50 boxes to a pallet. So it's gonna.
Well, the pallets that they put them on, they're 72 on a pallet.
And then you need 720 frames to fill those up. So.
Yeah. And he can sell you the frames too. Like he builds the frame or makes the frame parts you can buy.
Yeah, I'll give them a call for sure. It's funny, he's got a toll-free number for sure.
Yeah, may or may not be international, but I know he ships. Like he has shipped stuff all over the world. So,
and guys, if you're looking for frames, that's the place to go. I'm telling you right now. Because Man Lake has frames for like $170 for 100 unassembled frames, right?
Yeah.
So their frame bundles of 100 are $138. They're $138 Canadian, right? So about $100.
I think when I started beekeeping, I was paying 92 cents for their frame. That's crazy, or what?
Yeah, I mean, when I started the Man Lake, it was about $100 for it. It's about $1 a frame when I started.
Yeah,
from Man Lake. Now it's so $138 Canadian. The $102 for 100 frames. So
yeah, that's pretty
James
sweet.
says post that link, Bob.
Yep, got it right now. Copying. Pasting, and you're in Michigan, so it'd probably take like 2 days to get to you. From they're in Manitoba as well?
That's right. They're kind of west of me and north of Ian.
And then they got the 6-frame nuke box.
They got bee escapes.
Inner covers.
Yeah, they got everything. I buy my 6-frame. Well, I buy all my boxes from him. I'm buying a bunch of 6-frame boxes this year. I'm trying to get more of those. I'm trying to get the poly boxes out of my operation because they just don't fit physically. They're kind of a pain.
Hey, I know a guy in South Carolina you could mail those to. I'd take them.
I was trying to get rid of them to him. But yeah, so I'll be going down there. I go down there usually once, at least once. I'll go over there every spring. I phone Adam up and give him my order, usually about Christmas time. Tell him what I want.
So see mediums on his site.
Hey? Yeah,
I don't see mediums. I just see that says budget super. That I was looking.
I think they're there. I buy mediums there sometimes.
It says
but
budget.
It's handy.
Budget.
I was going to say it's handy because they do custom wax dipping for new equipment, eh? So
right.
I go and get my order in the spring, and I'll take I've been building a whole whack of equipment for Ian every winter, and so I'll take my trailer down with Ian's stuff, drop it off there, and they wax dip it, and then Ian comes up and picks it up from there. It's kind of halfway.
Well, this says they call them all supers, right? They don't call them like brood box or something. Well, the only thing I see right now is the supers, then I see shallow super 6 and 5/8.
You know what? Their terminology on that is admittedly not correct. That's a medium.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a medium.
That's still not. I mean, the mediums are actually more expensive than the, but that might be the commercial grade super, right?
they cut them down. It starts life as a deep, and then they cut it off.
That's
So it's a little more work because they got to cut it.
yeah, that's that would be worth it. I mean, but it's 7 5/8 or 7/8 rather. I'll have to do the measurement to see how much different it is between my boxes. Probably not much, right? Just a little bit.
Now I know this is going on a YouTube video that's going to live forever, but I'll tell you this. Did you watch my little video on making the entrance reducers that I made?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you look at that video at the beginning when I start cutting that lumber, and I tell you that they're offcuts,
Right.
that looks like the bottom of a deep that you'd cut off to make a medium, doesn't it?
Right.
Because last year I went through loads of tons of garbage and I picked out the scraps.
Oh, nice.
So now I've told everybody in the world where I get my offcuts.
Hey, but that's that works out though. That's awesome. That you can
Well, using up the cast offs, right?
if they're just going to throw it away, you're recycling.
And I gave it away, right? So I didn't even charge them for the.
Well, you don't have to worry
reducing
about me
the-
driving to Manitoba to pick up any scraps. So your pile is safe. Your scrap pile is safe.
You can edit that part of this video out, can't you?
We're live. It's on forever.
It
Oh
lives
God!
Budget
Yeah.
super. Yeah, that's pretty cheap. That is, I'll say inexpensive. Cheap is a quality thing, right? Inexpensive just means it's
Yeah, they're cheap.
costless.
I like those boxes, especially the dipped ones. They're awesome.
It's
Assembled and
competitively
So you'll have
priced.
to. What's that?
It's competitively priced.
That's right. Well, $22 Canadian is $16.41. So even
Yeah.
if it cost you $400 shipping,
Yeah,
then
you're buying that many.
yeah, I mean you're adding $2 on a box, right? If it's 52 or whatever. But I mean, so you're paying $20 for a assembled and wax dipped box that you don't have to paint. You can just drop right on.
And dude, if you haven't run wax dipped equipment, you will think you're in heaven. This stuff is amazing. It's
No, I
so
have-
beautiful to run. Yeah, it's nice.
So yeah, they'll get a call right there for sure.
So just make sure that outside dimension is going to work for you because it's going to be bigger. Your covers and stuff might not fit properly.
Yeah, I'm running mostly migratory. So I do have a few telescopic lids, but
20 and an eighth front to back. So as long as your migratory will fit on that.
hell, but that's easier to adjust than nothing that one time with a saw right along the edge to cut off that extra little ship of wood right there, right?
I've done that. I build my covers wrong, and then I have to do that.
And yeah, that's pretty impressive. The main thing is the duties, right? So like the stuff I got from Mike that came in yesterday, he said, well, they may charge you $10 when they get there cash, and they didn't. He just handed me the package. He didn't charge me anything extra, so for duty on the cups. So
Yeah.
it's just, I guess, depends how you ship. I mean, obviously, they probably ship out a bunch, and so they probably have a company that they use that's got all that stuff ironed out already, But yeah, I'll definitely give him a call.
I don't know. I
That's,
saw Mike on Tuesday at that meeting. Saw Mike and his boy.
oh, was
that
he there?
meeting on Tuesday. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've only
They're
ever
really good
talked to them on the
supporting our group.
Phone
Yeah.
and email. But
Oh, yeah.
Dancing Bee's going to be carrying. Well, I mean, that's what they've told me, but I'm optimist, but I'm still skeptical. Right? If someone says they're going to do business with you, I take them at their word. But until they actually do business with you, like make an order, then
Yeah.
you know it is what it is. It's just
Well,
word of mouth.
You can trust Mike.
Well, they said they're going to buy some, so we'll see.
You see
Mike
Bruce
says it's so
comment
it's going
in
to
the
be.
chat there?
What'd you say, Phil? I mean, Filament Corner Spanky.
Bruce is telling you what the normal U.S. size 10 frame boxes are.
19 7/8. So you're looking at about what, a quarter of an inch difference.
Yeah, because it's an 8. Every direction, it's an 8.
So yeah, so the lids could be tight,
Yeah, they will.
but nothing but a well, then the question is, if I set a US box on top of a Canadian box, then I would have an 1/8 of an inch on each side where it was just kind of exposed, right? Sitting out there.
I can't see that being a problem.
And but hey, as long as it holds the frames and stays together.
That's where you ask them if they can just cut that off.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to run all their lumber through a planer for one customer.
Oh, you know, you just
You could
get
do that at home.
file and cut whatever.
If you had a planer at home, you could run all those box sides through your planer before you put it together.
Do they own a lumber mill or something? Is that how they can get their wood so cheap, or they just make so many that they get that kind of discount?
Yeah, they buy a lot of lumber. They don't have a mill. They just buy a lot of lumber.
But I bet you if I bought them unassembled would probably be the best way to ship them here, right? But then they wouldn't be wax dipped and all that stuff. So
that would save you in shipping, I would expect, because it would be a far smaller cube, like 100. How many boxes are you buying?
Well, I was
100 boxes.
Well, I know the pallets here, when they say you're buying a pallet of boxes, it's like 100 deeps. So
there's 100 flat pack boxes. It's not that much. Like you can get a lot on a pallet. But assembled, then you're talking a different story.
Right. So in the ones in the States, they say, well, if you're buying them assembled, they come 50 to a pallet, 50 to a pallet, or 100 flat packed. So,
right.
So that's kind of what I've been debating.
And
right
I know when I go there, they're pallets of deeps that they have. I don't know if they really ship those because they're pretty tall. They've got 72 on a pallet, but I don't know if they'd actually ship that anywhere. Might fall off. Pretty tall.
Well, they probably usually shrink wrap the crap out of them to try to hold them together.
Well, they're all shrink wrap for sure.
And
I would shrink wrap everything I can when I ship.
But I would definitely, if I bought those, I would replace all of the current, my older equipment. That would become my new brood box, right? So, and then my other deeps would be the additional deep on top.
You build new lids, then you could just build them a little longer, and then they'll work on any of your boxes.
Right. Yeah, so see, you got me thinking now. You got me wanting to spend some money.
Well, I don't want to get you into equipment that's, going to be different and going to be a pain in the butt. So tread carefully.
But now look, if I would have bought these last year, yep, I would have had to do something with the lids, but I wouldn't be replacing boxes I just bought this year. So
yeah, those boxes hold up, especially if you buy the wax dipped ones. They'll hold up for the rest of your life.
So maybe I just call them and get a quote and see what they say, right?
You betcha.
And
tell them I sent you. They'll get a kick out of that.
Maybe they'll give you a kickback.
I don't think so. They treat me very, very well regardless, so don't you worry.
And yeah, that's definitely a good option. Is that wood kiln dried already, or has it still got a lot of moisture in the box when you get it?
No, it's pretty dry. It's not like it does shrink a little bit after the fact, but no, it's pretty dry once they're put together.
Because ours down here, the ones that I bought seem to have a lot of moisture in them because I was torching the outside of them, and you can just see the moisture just coming out of the wood when you hit it with the torch.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this would probably be kiln dried, and I know when I was assembling, buying just plain parts, no, I wouldn't say that it was wet at all. It was pretty good.
All right. Well,
I know there's an issue, or there's a potential issue, if you don't assemble them in the next, I don't know, 6 months or so, and depending on your climate, because then the unassembled parts can kind of change shape a little bit, and it might be hard to put them together.
well, 50 boxes, you're looking at $1,000 Canadian, right? If $20 a box dipped. I mean, so I mean, still, even if wax dip boxes, if it's wax dipped and assembled and they charge you $400, it's $24 a box wax dip. I mean, Canadian.
Well,
so
yeah, and think about that. When that thing shows up in your driveway and they drop that pallet, you pick that box off of there and you put it on your beehive. You're done. Like absolute turnkey. You're not even painting or nothing, and you never have
just
to
won't be
repaint.
able to modify them if you get them wax dipped.
what'd you say, Spanky?
You won't be able to modify those if you get them wax dipped.
Modify.
They're
As in
they're
planing them or cutting them or anything.
well, you
You'll have
can. I've done quite a bit of that, but if you glue doesn't stick to it very well. So if I have to do any repairs, then I have to take that into account. I'll use a screw through it or something.
Well, if you're cutting it to make it like a US box, what does that do to the outside wax coating?
The wax isn't. It's not the outside wax coating that's really doing you the job. It's actually, they'll boil that in the wax for a few minutes, and it boils the water out of the wood, and then the wax gets
Goes
pulled
in.
back into the wood as it cools. The outside wax coating really is, honestly, it's aesthetic. It's there just to make it kind of look like it has wax on it, but it doesn't really do much for you.
It's probably just a side effect from it being submerged in the wax, right? It doesn't really do
Well,
much.
no, they do dip it twice. Like I can get some single dip boxes there, and they'll dip them, and when you get them back, it doesn't really seem like they've been dipped, but they double dip everything. So they'll do that. They'll let it cool, and then they dip it again. They just dip it. Like the first time they'll boil it for a while, but the second dip they'll just dip it. They put it in and then they pull it out. So then that's when the wax stays on the outside of the box. And again, that's just to make it look nice. It doesn't do that much for you. It's the boiling part that really does the job.
Okay.
Preserves the wood, and it's an excellent wood preservative.
That's the yeah, I never have bought the budget because for some reason everyone always said, well, you want to go with Select or better down here. So it's just the knots, right? So they didn't want the knots to like pop out on you or something, and then all of a sudden
No loose knots. You won't get loose knots even in a budget. You'll get maybe a few little imperfections or something, but nothing major at all.
well, that would definitely be worth it.
Here's an idea for you, Bob. Do you have a table saw?
I do.
All right. So get that box, and if the top side is a little bit of a bother because it's 7/8 and your lid isn't fitting, take your table saw and bring your blade right up to the height that your lid goes down the side of the box, right? You get what I mean? So if you put your lid on and it goes down 2 inches on your box, then you bring your table saw blade up to 2 or a little bit more, flip that box over, and set your fence to just take that 1/8 off of the side of that box, and now you got a box that's made out of 3/4 lumber on the top.
Right, just a shim for just shaved on the shim.
You've got a little step in the side of your box now, and maybe you want to just tilt your blade a little bit so there's not actually a step, and it's just kind of a little bit of a bevel on the top of your box.
then I can
I've
sell
never
them
done that.
boxes, custom
Hey,
custom boxes. Then right, they're custom at that point.
triangle boxes.
So yeah, that's definitely
So there's ways around it. You know, if you get 100 boxes that are 7/8 and you end up hating yourself, there's ways around that. Just run that through your table saw and kind of make it a little bit smaller.
so yeah. I'm definitely going to give them a call this week and see what we can do, because I can't. I mean, that's the cheapest price I've seen anywhere.
And you won't find nicer people to deal with. They're a family operation, a small town, and they're very, very good people. Very, very good. I love going out there. I just love going out there.
So I'll give them a. You see, I had to alter all my lids. I finished 3/4 rough cut, 1 inch. So to 1 inch. I gotcha. Oh, do they sell lids, Brad? That's what Donnie was asking. Watch, all these people in the chat, the 18 people will call them on Monday. They'll be like, what the hell? We're getting invaded.
Adam's going to be emailing me. What the hell?
I went on this live chat, you see.
They
and
sell what you'd use for like what you'd call an inner cover, and they sell telescoping covers. They don't, as far as I know, they don't build a migratory cover. I'm the only one in Manitoba that I know that builds a migratory cover for, you know, what would be on a production basis.
16. I'm just doing some math here. 41 times, let's say it's 50. $820 for 50 boxes, wax dipped and assembled, if they're 50 to a pallet.
Nice.
That's a great price. But then, you know, you're going to add a few $100s on it for shipping. So just keep that in mind. But the price is low enough to where, you know, I mean, even if it's $4 a box, I mean, 4 times 50, right, is what?
$200.
200 bucks. Well, yeah, it'd be more than that probably.
4 times 50.
No, 4 times 50 is never more than 200 bucks. But shipping will probably be more than 200. You know,
that's what it is in Canada, and I don't know about other countries, but
so
4 times 50 is always 200 here.
I mean, even if you are paying $500, I mean, so you get a wax dip box for $22 or something US. You know, by the time you do the math on it, that's not bad. Still, wonder how many will fit my bus.
And I think you'll love it. You know, like I say, you'll never repaint a box with those those things. You'll never repaint it.
So that's definitely interesting concept. And James did tell me about it, but I think I searched the wrong site because I didn't see any prices on the other site you were talking about.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's a good price. The only thing with buying them unassembled is you can get more at one time. And
yeah, you'd ship more for your dollar because there's smaller cube.
But then you got to paint them and everything, so, and assembled.
And you're not getting wax dipped, which is half of, you know, the great thing about them.
So, yeah, man, you got my head spinning now. I'm like, call them up right now. Hey, go ahead and ship me some. They'll be like, why are you calling me at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning? So,
well, they have a lot of people who phone there throughout, you know, from now till March or April, who are going to be saying, hi, this is so-and-so. Brad Hogg told me to phone you and order such and such equipment because he's coming to pick it up. So it won't be an unusual phone call except for the part about me picking it up. It won't be that.
Right. Well, yeah, and, you know, I don't know how much they ship to the United States or if they do, right? I mean,
I think they shipped some, you know, at one time they were anyway.
If, I mean, at that price, if I put that on my website, I mean, the shipping would be outrageous. The packing materials would be outrageous to be able to send out a bunch, but at one time. But man, that's crazy.
That 7/8 dimension would be your deal killer, probably.
Yeah, that
It
would
might
be
cause
the
some problems.
that would be a problem for all the other people. For me, it's not. I like my stuff to look pretty. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, the bees don't care what it looks like.
No, they don't.
They don't. I mean, some of the stuff that they live in swarms and stuff. It's like if they'll live in that, they'll live in anything. Mr. Ed, I don't know if you watch his videos, but Jeff Borchoff had a video where they were in a gas tank.
Yeah. Oh, I know. People.
So it's like,
Well, people always say, "Oh, we can't keep bees in a box because it's so unnatural. They live in trees." Holy crap!
right.
They live in a lot more places than trees, like tires and gas tanks and chimneys and
all over the
you don't
place.
think
Right?
they belong in a wooden box. I don't think that's too terrible.
And so yeah, I'm gonna definitely give them a call and see how what they would require, because hell, there's people that would probably want to get in on a shipment and come pick up boxes, at that price, even knowing that they're a little bit different size wood.
Yeah. If your lids fit, I mean, it's no big deal.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. If the lids don't fit, they have to do a little woodwork. They'll have
Do
to
something about that.
saw some of the thickness on that piece that's hanging down or something.
Yeah, you can take an 1/8 off of your cleat on your end cleat. I've done that.
Basically, what, 2 widths of a saw blade?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. When I did it, I actually had built some covers wrong, and I had to cut them down. And I think I only had to take off. Well, it was an 1/8 I had to take off, so it would be half of what you're taking off. But so what I did was I just set the fence for 3/4 for 11/16 or 11/16 gap, and
Right.
then I ran the cleat through between the fence and the blade, so then it just cut the inside of that cleat down to 11/16 instead of 3/4. That worked great.
And that's the thing, James, that these wax dip boxes are still cheaper than buying a undipped box from Man Lake, and they're assembled already.
And they're assembled.
So that's the beauty of the exchange rate right now. So
yeah, that's for sure. Take advantage of it.
So we'll definitely give them a call on Monday. I got them. I'm gonna leave their tab up at the top here, and I'm gonna stare at this beautiful wooden box here. And,
well, they're good people. They're really good people.
And that's yeah. I mean, assembled and dipped. When they assemble them, they glue them or they don't?
Yeah, glue, and they use a fairly long nail. They're a pretty substantial nail in the finger joint.
Well, it looks. I mean, they look
Pretty
solid.
robust. Yeah, they're very robust box for sure.
Which means they're heavy.
They're a little bit heavy.
So
you'll probably feel the difference in weight, because I imagine the wax will add weight too.
Oh yeah. James, I'll get the numbers and let you guys know what the boxes would cost, or what. Well, I'll definitely let you know if I buy some, what they cost me, by the time they're shipped and everything. But if you're buying 1 or 2 boxes, then you don't really have that much to worry about shipping. It's still probably, and you're in Michigan, so it's not like they're going very far, across Lake Michigan maybe. And I mean, so yeah, it's definitely worth the call to see what they can come up with. I mean, obviously they don't care where they ship it because they're getting paid for the shipping, right? It's just a matter of getting it.
Yeah, and they do that. I know they've shipped. They've shipped most places in the world, to be honest.
And they probably can real easily pull that up. And so it's, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen. Have you ever seen Paul Kelly on his video? He's had those little mini mating nukes that are built in a quad.
Right.
That's Lewis and Sons built those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually talked to Paul at the show. We were in the same hotel.
Yeah.
And, is it Janet, his helper?
I don't know who his helper is right now.
Well,
I don't
Janet,
know.
I think Janet was the girl that came with him down there. And I talked to both of them for a good while at the show and at the hotel even. So, yeah, great people. Matter of fact, I bought all their videos that they had on YouTube on a flash drive. And people are like, why'd you buy that? Well, because if I ever end up, I do some things with kids at schools and talk to them about bees. So these little things would be pretty handy to put into a laptop. It's got all the videos in it.
Nice.
So
what was he charging for that? Do you mind?
Well, if you bought it with Canadian dollars, you saved a little bit by getting it through the website or whatever. But I went ahead and paid him it was $40, I think, for this thing.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a good cause, so I just paid him the regular price on it.
It's good content. He sure has good content.
Well, I've watched it all on YouTube, I think. Just about everything that he's got out. And
I think I have too.
Probably twice, actually. I go back. I do it a lot. So if I'm coming up and I'm wanting to do something, I'll go back and watch the videos on that topic again, just to make sure I'm not missing any fine point in there.
Right.
And it's worked pretty well. I don't use those little nukes. I use the 2-frame deeps for queen mating, but tonight came and said he didn't like those. He prefers the 3-framers. So,
right.
I guess it's just what you get used to working. And
I tried the minis. For 3 years. I went around with the minis, and I didn't get along with them. So I've given up, and I'm just going back to deep nukes for mating.
You're just using 5-frame nukes for it right now, or 6-frame?
Yeah, either 4s or 5s. I use 6 frames when I run out of 4s and 5s, but I don't think I'll run out of 5s this year.
Well,
I've got a whole bunch of 4-framers I built years ago, so I use those too. They're really nice.
Well, I was looking for cardboard nukes, and I was looking at Mike's site there at Dancing Bee, and in Canada, at least at his site, it's all 4-frame. Everything is 4-frame, and here everything is 5-frame. So I mean,
I don't buy cardboards. I don't know how they go.
So you're doing the Pro Nukes too?
Well, I started using Pro Nukes last year, and I just fell in love with them.
Yeah,
if I need 5-framers, that's what I'll use.
I mean, I've even used them as kind of a utility tub, so I'll pull them out to a colony, and if I need nurse bees, right, for all my mating nukes, I'll just shake a bunch of frames of bees in there and let the foragers fly back to wherever they need to fly, and the only thing left in the box are the babies that can't fly, and then I just pour some in this box, pour some in that box, and just go right on down the line.
I use those for so many things. I got one is my toolbox, one is holds my smoker fuel, one of them holds my my feed plugs, just sit in the apiary, and mating nuke, swarm boxes, and quiet boxes when you're working your bees, and everything. I call them problem solvers, actually. I don't call them Pro Nukes, I call them problem solvers. I won't go to an out yard without a couple of Pro Nukes full of frames, because
I just keep some in my truck in case I'm out in town and somebody says, "Hey, I got bees in my tree over here," and then I just come over and shake them in, and
exactly,
and then go home with them. They're pretty easy. I like the fact that, you know, the lid snaps. The only thing that I'm not too fond of is I don't think that the slide down gates to close it up, they don't always flatten out enough, and bees can sometimes still get in and out of there.
They don't latch closed very well, and I find when they're open that I find it hard to push them down, and I feel like I'm going to break it or something.
Right.
So we'll have to see how long they last.
Yeah, and they're not cheap unless you buy them by the pallet like James did, and that's still not cheap because they're cheap per unit, but by the time you pay for that whole pallet, right, it's still $5,000 either way. So but I mean, I guess you're getting a ton more if he's going to make 100 or 400 nukes that he needs 400 Pro Nuke boxes for.
Yeah, he's ambitious. He's going to do it. Like, he's the kind of guy to get things done, so he's definitely going to use them. I'll probably buy, I don't know, I might buy 100 this year, perhaps, but
maybe if you can get him off of James, you can get a little of his savings in there.
Yeah, shipping again. He's still a long ways away from me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's the shipping issue.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it is 1:24 in the morning here. I think I'm going to call it a night.
All right.
A lot of other people are too. And who knows, maybe if Cayman doesn't go live tomorrow, we can go live earlier. And
I think I might end up divorced if I do.
my wife just gave up on it. She's like, he's just going to do whatever he was going to do. So, at any rate, guys, I'm going to call it a night. You guys have a good evening, and we'll see y'all on Tuesday for sure.
Hey, nice talking to you.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night. Nice, Becky.